Woye uria wari mumemerekia wa karaviconi ka Citizen TV hau kabere agicoka akibutwo ugwitwo Kimani Mbugua ni yumiritie na kieha kinene akihoya uteithio wa Akenya thutha wake kurekererio thibitari-ini wiki imwe thiru kuria akoretwo kwa ihinda akirigitwo murimu wa meciria witagwo bipolar mood disorder uria anyitirwo niguo mwaka-ini wa 2020 hindi ya corona na agikora akihuthira dawa cia kulevya muthemba wa bangi na thigara iria augite ati ndahuthirite mieri iri riu riri ringi akiambia kurika ukombo-ini wa mathiri ma muigana wa milioni 1,700,000 riu undu uria wacungiriirie ona aingatwo kuria aikaraga na akiambia kuheo toro ni arata ake aria riu manogetio niwe akiuga ona gathimu karia aroire ga video nako no gaguteithio na agakiuga wenda kumuteithia uhuthire email ino ya danielkimani2027@gmail.com hihi mathina ma Kimani mambirie ku ni tutwarane.
Hi guys, Kimani Mbugua here, former star of TV. Feels so bad to say that right now because I'm not there anymore, but niko kwa shida and I need your help because kama ningekuwa nimekufa watu wangekuwa wanasema oh Kimani alikuwa hivi, Kimani alikuwa hivi. I'm not going to suffer in silence, but at the same time sitaki kuondeshana kama mimi nataka kuchangiwa pesa ya kufanya something bad. I fell ill in 2020. In 2020, I was diagnosed with bipolar mood disorder, and since then my life fell apart. I have lost so many things. I've lost so many friends in the journey. People got tired of me, and I'm at a position where most people are not willing to help because they say that they're tired. But I got out of hospital literally last week, and I feel my mind has come back to normal, and I don't want to go back to the place where I used to be. So I am homeless. I'm homeless. I have my bag and I'm out. Where I was leaving, the people I was leaving, they said they couldn't host me for any longer, so they told me to look for an alternative, and I came to look for somebody else who could host me, and I didn't find, but I just need your help. Please, if you can help me, please. I have a business plan here. At least I have a business plan here. This is my business plan, which I managed to put together in the last 1 week when I was out of hospital. And I have my first proposal for a client. Here. And I have those two things. The company structures and everything is set up. All I need is a business partner who is serious, who's going to bring in money and just have my ideas take off. Because I realized I could suffer in silence and not speak out and be depressed again and go back to drugs. I don't want to go back to drugs. I'm 2 months clean. I'm 2 months I haven't used any weed, I haven't used any cigarettes. Those are the only drugs that I was abusing. And I finally got to a point of healing, and I feel even though I'm homeless and I don't have money for anything, I don't even have a phone. I've just heard there's a beautiful woman here who has just offered me her phone because the people I was coming to look for to get their help, they're not at home. So, and because you don't have a phone, you won't know where they are. So I just asked for a woman to give me a phone, and she did. And now I can send this video to my social media to ask you guys for help. And thank you so much. If you want to help me, my email is danielkimani2027@gmail.com. danielkimani2027@gmail.com. So if you're willing to hear what I have, it's a creative agency that I want to form and work with creatives, because I realized that I'm in so much debt. I'm like 1.7 million shillings in debt because somebody very close to me sold my car, and I was unable to pay that loan because I didn't have a job. I haven't held a job in the last 2 years. I have just been wandering and being hosted by different people. Of course, they get tired, and that's allowed. But now I'm at a point where I'm healing. I'm healing, and I'm taking every day as it comes. I'm in too much debt, and I decided let me just go and form my own company and do what I love. And if you're interested in that, and if you're interested to help me, or you can host me, if you're a good person who can host me, I need a laptop and Wi-Fi, just a laptop and Wi-Fi and money for doing calls and all of those things. So if you can do that, please help me. Please, I ask for your help. Thank you.
Muhuthiri wa nenda witagwo Eric Mboya andikite rwenda-ini rwake rwa Facebook akauga atiriri, former Citizen TV reporter Kimani Mbugua appeals for financial help. Kimani was doing well until 2019 when he started indulging in drugs. His situation worsened until he found himself in the streets of Nairobi, always high. He was later diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Kimani was chased away by his parents. He is now homeless and with debts amounting to Kenya shillings 1.7 million. In 2019, he said SDA is not a church, it's a cult. Few months later, he started taking drugs. He was fired. The handsome journalist was always spotted in Westlands with a bottle in his nose, sniffing glue while talking to himself and carrying a gunia at the back. He is now recovering, but he has lost all his friends and family members. Nobody is willing to help him. Ooh, yeah. Riu gukoneka tari hihi gukirambo arakirambo.
Hi guys, real quick I want to go what has been happening on my Facebook. First I want to say I was very wrong. I was very wrong, and that I know and I'm willing to admit that I was very wrong in how I mistook the level of understanding that SDAs and Adventists have of the material they are consuming. And I do hold very strong views against Ellen White, or Ellen White as known by many people. I think I know, because I lived like that for many years. I was born and raised SDA, and now I know that SDA is not a church, SDA is a cult. And hear me out from someone who was born that way, raised that way. This is the only thing I have known for about 20 years of my life. From when I was a child to when I was an adult, there was a path for me and I followed it diligently. And I'm not saying all of these things from a point of ignorance. I have read every single Ellen White book. I have read all of them: The Desire of Ages, Steps to Christ, call them whatever, Counsels for the Youth, Counsels, all of those books. I have read them, and I am willing to sit down with anybody willing to have an open mind, and I will break it down to you and I will show you that she is a fraud. Your life will be much easier if you're out in a Sunday worshiping church. In fact, I think those people are happy. As Adventists, we used to think we were happy. We used to think we know the truth. And those people, they used to think, what is wrong with these guys? Why do they know everything? Yes, Adventists read. And here is how you know it's a cult. Because if you don't read, the people who read the most get indoctrinated the most, and they get so deep in the cult they never see the other side. And that's who I was. I was very deep into it. I was ordained as an elder at 16 years of age at Karura Adventist. A lot of people who went to Karura Adventist knew me as that guy they did not want to interact with, because I was so anti everything. I was anti-hugging. I was anti-sex, any kind of sex. I even wondered, why would I found it hard to imagine that I could ever have a wife one day and have sex with her, because the Ellen White books went so deep even into how people should have sex. It's so deep, and I'm going to break down all of that material so that it doesn't seem like I'm lying, or I'm being dishonest, or I'm being angry, or I'm venting towards Ellen White. No, I believe Ellen White is a leader of a cult. That I will not apologize for. It's my freedom of speech to express myself on how I think about something, and that is true. SDA is a cult. Let's just define it as that. A lot of people will think it's a normal church. A lot of Sunday people are confused about what is this stuff that you guys believe in. A lot of people don't even care because they're like, why are you not drinking tea? Why are you not drinking coffee? I will educate all of you guys, especially the Sunday people, so you can know the kind of stuff that SDAs are going through. They're going through it rough. I believe Ellen White is a fraud, and I say her and her doctrines are not to be adopted by anyone. If you want to live a happy life, please quit the SDA church. It is a cult. It is a cult. It's not even a church. I don't want to call it a church. It's a cult. It is a cult, and it should always be called a cult. And if you're in there and if you're reading all of that material, it's not good for you. If you have been suspecting that it could be a lie, yes, it is a lie. And I will do a series of exposés here. We will talk about it. We will talk about her philosophies. We'll talk about who she was, where she came from, and why she wanted all of those things. And we will talk about cults and why cults are the way they are and how they are designed to oppress people and to make them believe in outrageous things. We will do all of that. We will do all of that, and I'm willing to do that. So in conclusion, I stand with what I said. Ellen White is still a big time philosophical fraud, and I will always support that statement because it's based on information. It's not based on it's not based on my career. But my career is very different from this. I'm not speaking out of arrogance. I saw a lot of people commenting and saying, oh, you become tutafanya nini ukifika level la Jeff Koinange. It has nothing to do with my career. It has everything to do with how I was raised and the religion that I was raised by, and that is this SDA church, or the SDA cult as I now call it. It is a cult, and I will break it down for you guys.
Kimani aingirire umemerekia-ini wa miaka 19 na akiruta wira ruhonge-ini rwa radio miaka 3 kambuni-ini ya Nation, agicoka akiandikwo Royal Media kuria amemerekagia Inoro FM, Hot 96 o hamwe na Citizen TV. Atanafutwo na niyumiririe agitariria uria agiagwo ni muthinikano wa meciria thutha ucio.
Where it all began, I think, where I realized things had gone really wrong, was I talk about it in the podcast when I was driving home with my fiance at the time, and decided, let me just smoke marijuana on the way home. And that day, it wasn't the same as any other day. Before, it's something I had decided to do over a period of time. Like when you're depressed, you have nobody to talk to. And the funny thing, it's called it's the cast of fame, because a lot of famous people seem to have have a lot of people around them.
Yes.
But when you go back home and it's just you and yourself inside the house, there's really very few people that you can talk to. And so for me, I found solace in smoking marijuana. And for me, on that day when I was driving home with her, and I smoked, and it wasn't the same. I started seeing things differently, and I started feeling this connection to another world that was just it's hard to tell, but I think having gone to hospital, the first explanation I had was that you had an acute psychotic episode.
Okay.
Now, I think maybe, Doc, you can tell people
what exactly
acute,
that means.
What it entails for someone to go through an acute psychotic episode. Because for me, it was traumatizing, because you're seeing things that are not real, and they're not real in this world, but you're seeing them, and it's like you're inhabiting another reality altogether. Somebody was talking to me the other day and telling me that the difference between somebody who's sane and somebody who is not sane is that the person who is not sane thinks they're more sane
than the person who's
sane. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I think depression is something that happens gradually. I'll quote from my favorite movie, The Fault in Our Stars, but I'll paraphrase it. You get depressed the way you fall asleep. Slowly at first, and then all at once. So it starts with something, with events pile up in your life, and you keep avoiding them. You keep avoiding them. You keep avoiding them. You keep avoiding something that you know you should do. And then at the end of the day, you find that when you look back, you can't face yourself in the mirror, because maybe you've had an argument with someone. Maybe you've had an argument with your girlfriend. You don't want to talk about it. You wake up in the morning. You just go to work. So the conflict in the relationship keeps piling up, and you don't want to face to it. So at some point you get you look back and you see that you can't even have a free conversation with this person because there's so much conflict that has
happened over time.
Has piled up. There's resentment that's growing, and of course I think the point that a lot of people in this business get to is you get to the point of pride that I really don't want to talk to anyone because nobody will understand you, you know, and because you already, people see you in a certain way.
Ngiribotera ceceni ya Musenene ko kuma thini wa YouTube ngikuria na gitio tuke wa gusubscribe gushare na comment kenda wa video ino na ndukariganirwo ni guturumirira thini wa TikTok na Facebook Musenene ko ni njeta Musenene kwiga tu.